Yeah, we ready. Couple seconds. Can you see?
Let me see.
I know, because I wanted to see if you can see it, if it's straight. I'm going to have to turn the camera. Because I got it sideways for you can get a whole view. So give me 1 second, everyone. We're going to wait for a couple people to log on. We're going to jump right into it. We got 3 more minutes. 2 more minutes.
I have to get my other phone.
I'm checking with something. I want to see if it's crooked or straight. I see you on there.
It's not keeping up with the.
I see you. That's logged on. Is it crooked or is it straight on your phone?
It's straight.
Oh, you can see it, so I don't look upside down.
What you mean you don't look upside down?
Never mind. Don't worry about it then. That's good.
But my audio is behind. I mean my audio is behind the video.
It's choppy
on this phone. No.
Oh.
I have to go get my other phone. Cause you're still talking.
So you're gonna give everybody a couple seconds to log in, and we're gonna jump right into it. This teaching is gonna be systematic today. So if you have any questions, send it to my email or inbox me. And we're gonna keep this one prompt today.
Prompt.
Mm-hmm. Right to the point. So we got 2 more minutes. We got 2 more minutes.
Who else logged on beside me?
You?
That's it?
For now, yeah. You know people slow. So what I'm gonna do, that's what I would do. I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna log off real fast and I'm gonna log right back. Oh, nope, no, I'm not. I was about to log off and log back in, Noble, so give me a second. We good. I told everybody be prompt. This the last one before school start. And this how it's gonna be systematic. So when the lectures be uploaded, when the Sunday school and the civics and history teachings, if anyone have any questions, you're gonna have to inbox me and send it to my email. And I will answer each question individually, only students and members. And then I'll answer each question live. And students will know the times. So we're gonna give a couple more people to log on because you know how some folks are. And I will give a little grace period. 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. We can start at the 5-minute mark. That's what I said. If our life depended on us being on time, we'd be some dead you know what's. We'll be some dead you know what's, Moors. Islam Empress. Like I was saying, this is going to be one of the last lectures until school start. This is going to be systematic. And like I told all members and students, when you're watching your teachings, your history, your civics, and your Moorish science lessons, if you have any questions, you need to write them down. Send your questions to my email for students and members and inbox me. I will answer all questions individually. And then I will send the time to the students individually to when I will go live and I'll have every question. I'll answer every question systematically. Yeah, that's what we're supposed to do. We travel and listen to the music, Empress, so we can travel and listen to the lessons. That's why I removed this excuse. We don't have to be in the same area, city, state, or whatever. We have the lessons, we turn it up, just like anything else. Turn up. Right? But we have to be clear with the teachings, and I always say it's some tradition that I like. And some of the tradition that I like is our Moorish American prayer and certain benedictions. So I always like to put things in the atmosphere before I give this teaching. So like I said, Moorish, please just be responsible of how you take notes and how you ask questions. And if you have any questions, please write them down. Because I promise you, a lot of the questions that you may have, I may answer them during the teachings. So like I said, Morris, this is going to be the last lesson before school start. And what we're doing, I'm showing more systematically that you can respond and say things on here, but I'm not going to answer too many questions because I want to keep the teachings systematic like you were in school. And if you have any questions, you should take good notes. And then you can ask questions. And how you will ask questions is by sending your question to my email and in my inbox. And I will answer every student and member question individually because that's what a teacher does. And then I will send everybody a time when I go live and answer every question. So that's what I want to make clear. But let me just give some ground rules of Moorish science and how the Moorish Science Temple of America and what should be taught structurally if we're teaching Moorish science and the Moorish Science Temple of America, just like countless other American citizens. You have to understand this. We know that we must live together in America in harmony, friendship, and goodwill. That's one of the analogies of the lion and the lamb waking up together in peace, and neither one will be harmed. So you must understand the duality and the context when I use certain phrases. But we welcome into our folds men and women of our group of all sections, all trades, occupations, and professions of sound mind and good character. We are friends and servants of humanity. We are dedicated to the purpose of elevating the moral, the social, and the economic status of our people. That's going to be in some of your literature when you get it in your Moorish Science Temple of America, your Moorish Guide. This is some of the stuff that's in our map. But the idea that we're talking about and the purpose of this Moorish movement of America, is to have everything that belongs to us as a nation that has become a part of another nation, just the same as all other European groups are demanding. No different. That's also in our Moorish Guide, demanding ours in our Moorish Guide. So I like to give certain basis of things. So I want to give just a quick benediction and some good notes and some good phrases that I like. Moorish American equals success. And the difference between a successful person and others is not a lack of strength, not a lack of knowledge, but rather a lack of will. Rather a lack of will to when you know better, you do better. How can you say you know how to do something and we don't do it? So let us let the past Moors, those past egos and past transgressions stay in the past. See, when people say they conjuring up their ancestors, you don't even know some of the ancestors. You're going to conjure up some spirits you don't even know about. That's why I say let the past be the past. This is the future. I'm in the flesh. We must take this further. We are in the flesh. Let us not focus on unity. When people see, this is the thing, and my mother can attest to this. When I talk about being nice, I'm not nice. You need to research what nice really about. And then Negro, Black, and Colors, this is the thing that Negro, Black, and Colors always try to get you with. And when I'm around different nationalities, Europeans, in my professional arena, see, Negro, Black, and Colors like to say, you need to be humble. But see, that's not right. Humble, when Negro, Blacks, and Colors say that, what they're really saying is you're confident and they're not confident. And your aura is illuminating so hard, they try to say you need to humble yourself. Bull crap. And when you go around others, they see the confidence. They see your confidence. So that's why I say you got to be careful who you operate around. You must be careful, because when you talk about humble, what's humble? Walking with your head down? No, you're supposed to have gratitude and be honorable. That's it. So you can miss me with that humble stuff. Miss me with that humble stuff. But we should be focusing on the prophet. The prophet. Remember when I say prophet, when I talk about Islam, you're the prophet above, and the love we have for our prophet, physically and mentally and spiritually. If we're saying these teachings come from a place, we must hold collaboration and unity with naturally developed That's why we have to study our divine instructions. So let us show the world there is still much wisdom to be learned from the descendants of Africans in America. You have to understand this, man. Right? Another prayer I like to give. I'm going to give benedictions because you should know this. When I tell brothers and sisters and Moors, are you a Moor just sometimes, or are you a Moor 24 hours, 7 days of the week, 365 days of the year? You give praise and homage all the time. See, the only time somebody make you do something and you follow it, that's slave. That means you are giving orders. And I show you in the Moorish Koran, when you're talking about you need to go pray this many times, that was for the slave. That time was for you to relax. But Moors missing the whole point of being connected to the great God, Allah. But our Moorish American prayer, Moors, Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Our Al-Fatih, the opening prayer, in the name of Allah, the benefit, the merciful. I'm not going to go through all that because it's kind of strenuous, but we must know this. Praise to God, the Lord of worlds, the benefit, the merciful, master of the day of requital. Thee do we serve, and thee do we beseech for help. Guide us on the right path, the path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed favor, not those upon whom wrath is brought down, nor who go astray, Moors. You see this? It's some traditions that we keep. So if you were Moor, no one tells you when to go do something. We are a walking pentagram. We are the symbology of prayer. If you don't understand this, if you made in God's image, you are a walking symbology of prayer. You just go into your closet. You just go inside your closet. So man is a walking symbology of prayer. This is something that we do. That's different from a God and a slave. A God is connected to things. A slave does what someone tell him to do. That's why I tell Moors and Moorish science, God and man is one. If you don't understand that, that's true shirk. Right? So, as I do my last benediction, this teaching is going to be real simple. But may the benison of Allah, and when I say Allah, Moors, I must be clear. I mean arm, leg, arm, head. Because in Moorish science, God and man is one. When I say Islam, I mean I, self, law, and master, symbolizing the man's image. I hope we're clear. I'm not talking about no outside religion. I understand the essence of all religion. But may the benison of Allah be upon you, and we always should strive to be a credit to Allah. Make haste to bestow the acts of love upon all your brothers, all your sisters, and we all should do our best to shun all evil and all evil ones. We must remember, Moors, to take suckle of the breast of knowledge, wisdom, fortitude, charity, love, and all standing, that we all might nourish the souls of all men and all women. Let the truth be thy shield in the manifest battles of falsehood, Moors, and we should know that we need not pick the lock to the gates of paradise by means of petty or criminal theft. For behold, Moors, the key to salvation rests already in our hands. And yes, Moors, we must understand that a portion of our nature is weakness, instability, inconsistency. There is still the greater part of our nature that is divine, Moors. So may Allah, may Buddha, may Confucius, may whatever name you give them praise, because a prophet come in the voice of the people. Why? So you won't be confused with the message that's being delivered. If I'm coming with a different language, that means I am in linguistics. So the first thing you must understand is the words coming out of my mouth before you learn the language. So understand these precepts and these concepts that I deliver from a scholarly perspective. But may Allah preserve us, give us everlasting life. Right? So let's clear up some stuff real fast. Now, all the members and students, one of the books you're going to get is Unto Thee I Grant. But a lot of those books are out of print. So I got a lot of them. And all my students that's already paid up, you're just going to get that book. I'm going to send it a PDF to you. so you can print it on your own will or have it on your tablet. It's going to come with your feds and all your books at one time. So you're going to be able to have unto thee I grant, and I'm going to start showing you synchronicity and things for you can stop all people from just talking and dissing things because they're not giving you science. And the first thing that my mother was just talking about it today, all Negro was trying to do is debate and argue with things. What type of spirit is that? We're supposed to be synchronizing. So watch this. I hope you got your pencils and your papers, Morris, because I know you're going to have some questions. And you're going to be able to write and ask these questions in my email, in my inbox. You might can put them on here and I'll look at them later, but I might not answer them. So the first thing we got to understand is look at this Moorish Koran on the front of it. Look at this Moorish Koran on the front of it. All my students, if you don't have it, you're going to get it. If you have it, you're going to get another one. Bless somebody with it. Or bliss somebody with it, whatever you want to do. If you studying this Moorish science and you have somebody that's next to you and you want them to learn something, give them this Moorish Koran if you already have one, because it's going to come in your package. So let's read the cover of this Moorish Koran so we can lay the ground rules, Morris. The Holy Koran of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, divinely prepared by the noble prophet, divinely prepared by the noble prophet. So the first thing I want you to write down is divinely and prepared, and research what those two words mean, how they be used in a sentence. What's the synonyms? You must understand words before you make assumptions, because when you open your mouth, you approve to somebody that you don't know, I'm even going to say it, that you don't even know anything what you're talking about. But by the guiding of his Father God, Allah, the great God of the universe, to redeem man from his sinful and fallen stages of humanity back to the highest plane of life with his Father God, Allah. Okay, that's one point. Now, in your head, also get the Aquarian Gospels by Eliseus Levi. See, I'm going to break this science down when I told y'all a lot of this stuff is old science. And nobody plagiarized anybody, and both attest to the old science. Let me grab this manuscript. That's what I forgot to grab, this manuscript. And remember, I told you I'm going to show you where everything come from so we can be clear, because the teacher teaches. Just like if I'm a master in certain degrees of art and martial arts and things, you think I don't want to have students to leave a legacy so we can operate? Now watch this. Now you get Moorish talking about the Aquarian Gospels, and Eliseus Noble Ali plagiarized the Aquarian Gospels, etc. Blah blah blah. Remember I told you about unto thee I grant. When I tell you all this science is Moorish science. Remember I told you about the infinite wisdom. The infinite wisdom. Keep these in your head. The second Moorish Akashic records. Keep this stuff in your head, because I'm only bringing out a couple pieces. And then part 2, remember I told you about the Baphomet right here. Well, Eliseus Levi connotated, and this off the River Nile God. And I'm going to demonstrate how Baphomet is written Kabbalistically. So keep that in your hippocampus. So now let's demonstrate. First, remember this. The work, infinite wisdom. Remember what I said. Remember what I said. Remember what I said. The infinite wisdom is now published as what, Morris? Unto thee I grant. Did y'all just hear what I said? Did you hear what I just said? Unto thee grant. What do you say? Unto thee grant. Unto thee I grant. Right? 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 So, the infinite wisdom is now published as unto thee I grant. Did y'all know that? The reading in the Moorish Holy Quran that diverge from unto thee I grant follow what, Morris? The infinite wisdom. The infinite wisdom. I'm giving y'all the science. Why? This is why I'm trying to show y'all, like, you got to get all this hate out of you. In 2 instances, Morris, in the Moorish Holy Quran, it diverges from both. Watch this. I hope you got your pens and papers, because this is how we dissect things. When I show you how all holy books testify to you. In the first instance, Moors, when the phrase is enough of evil is allotted unto man, but he maketh it more while he lamenteth it, is left out of chapter 44, verse 10. And in verse 19 of the same chapter, who remembereth himself in joy becomes who remembers themselves as a boy. Here is one more instance where our Prophet Noble Drew Ali improves the original. Remember when I said we can make improvement on things? Y'all not listening to me. We make improvement on things. Chapter 19 to 44 of the Moorish Holy Koran are found in pages 19 to 63 of Unto Thee I Grant, and pages 27 to 102 of the Infinite Wisdom. Are y'all listening to me? I'm telling you, man. I'm going to break all this science down. This book right here, the Sacred Book and the Early Literature of the East, with historical surveys of the chief writings of each nation, translations, bibliographies, etc. by the following leading Orientalists in America, in Europe, in Asia. You see this big manuscript? When I tell Moors, it's all synchronized, and everything in this manuscript shows down. When I talk about every animal figure is nothing but a pious hieroglyph, and all religions synchronize back to the same thing. You're getting it twisted. You're getting hate all in your blood because that's not scholarship. And we must teach from truth, and the truth has no sides. The truth has no sides. If you're going to rock with something because you believe it and you believe it in a lie, well, there's no truth in you. And that's not scholarship. That's religious, arbitrary, connotated dogma. Now, watch this, because this is real simple. We might even get part 2 on here of the Baphomet, because I'm already starting the next part. So watch this. Prophet Noble Drew Ali did not plagiarize the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Now watch this. Get your notes. First, I want to say Islam. I gotta tell you how people always accuse and accusations. But when you accusing somebody something and you a business, you better be valid on it, because you can try to mess up a person's name and they can sue you. Y'all don't. And this is what I tell people. It's like you got to be careful when you just making accusations. But a lot of people claim that Prophet Noble Drew Ali plagiarized the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America that was published in 1927. And it's extremely important that all Moors, if you say you a Moor, get to the root of it. And get to the important that we be clear in the language we use when making accusations, because you may intentionally or unintentionally commit acts of what? Libel or defamation of character. You heard about that before, cuz? Defamation of character. Just as it is a crime to steal someone's work or ideas. Remember we were talking about reference and stuff? In scholarship, you have to give credit to the original thought. So it's nothing new under the sun. That's what I be telling people. It's nothing new. I ain't came up with nothing. This is scholarship. But it's just as it is a crime called plagiarism to steal someone's work or ideal and claim it as yours. It's also a crime to slander someone's reputation. I'm telling y'all, watch. Now remember, I'm a business. So when people just talk, they have no idea. So watch this. Let's do the right thing. Plagiarism. Verb. The practice of taking someone else's work or ideas and passing them off as one's own. Plagiarize. A verb. Take the work or an idea of someone else and pass it off as one's own. So let's get into dictionary by Farlick's legal section states. Now we're going to get into the legal section. Plagiarism, a verb also. The act of appropriating the literary composition of another author or excerpts, ideas, or passages therefrom and passing the material off as one's own creation. Plagiarism is theft of another person's writings or ideas. Generally, it occurs when someone steals expressions from another author's composition and makes the appearance to be his own or hers work. Plagiarism is not a legal term. However, it is often used in lawsuits. Courts recognize acts of plagiarism as violations of copyright laws. You remember when I gave the lesson on copyright? When you take somebody's logo and you take it as yours and you think it's yours, but it's already copywritten, and they just let you make money and then shut you down? but y'all don't understand. Copyright law, specifically as the theft of another person's intellectual property, because copyright laws allows a variety of creative works to be registered as the property of their owners. Lawsuit alleging plagiarism can be based on the fact of any form of writing, music, visual images. Did y'all hear me? Plagiarism can be based on any form of writing, music, and images. I hope y'all clear with what I'm telling you. Writing, music, and visual images. So what we talk about, ID cards, plates, visual images, passing certain numbers on like it's yours and you part of something. I'm telling you, watch. It's getting ready to happen. It's already happening. I keep telling y'all about the task force, just like they got the drugs task force online. They got the sovereign citizen, black sovereigns online. And they got all them Negroes that's putting in place. Oh, how I know? Because I've seen every single one. Period. From foreign and abroad. Real talk. So defamation is a verb. Any intentional false communication, either written or spoken, that harms a person's reputation. Follow me? Decreases the respect, regard, or confidence in which a person is held, or induces despairing, hostile, or disagreeable opinions or feelings against a person, especially if that person is a business. Y'all missing it. Defamation may be a criminal or civil charge. It encompasses both written statements known as what? Liable, or things that can be considered spoken statements called what? Slander. Slander is an oral defamation in which someone tells one or more persons an untruth about another, which untruth will harm the reputation of the person defamed. Slander is a civil wrong, a tort, a T-O-R-T. This is how I know Moorish don't study business. I'm like, man, watch what happened. This is elementary. This is elementary. I tell Moors. That's why I tell Moors, you don't want to be a student. This is elementary that I'm giving y'all. But it's considered a tort and can be the basis for a lawsuit. Y'all don't even hear me. Damages, including payoff for worth for slander, may be limited to actual or special damages unless what? Unless, Moors, there is a malicious intent. Since such damages are usually difficult to specify and harder to prove, some statements such as untrue accusations of having committed a crime, having a loathsome disease, or being unable to perform one's occupation are treated as slander per se, since the harm and malice are obvious and therefore usually result in general and even punitive damages, recovery by the person harmed. So watch this. Words are spoken over the air or television or the internet or radio are treated as libel, written defamation or defamation, and not slander, on the theory that the broadcasting reaches a large audience as much, if not more, than printed publications. So when we talk about the Holy Koran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, which our prophet wrote in 1928, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali published the Moorish Koran of the Moorish Science Temple of America in 1927. But however, Moors, he never claimed to have wrote the Holy Koran, nor has he ever claimed it to be his own ideas. Our prophet, our American prophet, Noble Drew Ali, actually claimed the opposite, Moors. Noble Drew Ali stated on the cover. I just showed y'all the cover. Look. Look.
Divinely prepared.
Look. Now listen to me. Listen to me. Please. Noble Drew Ali actually claimed the opposite. Noble Drew Ali stated on the cover of the Holy Quran that it was what? Mom, what did he say?
Divinely prepared.
Divinely prepared. So the word divine means of a form of God, coming from the great God above, just like who your sovereign is, the great God above. That's your sovereign. And prepared means to make, like my mom in there preparing a meal with love. She's preparing to make something ready for use or consideration. Due to the name correction in 1928, there are two versions of the Holy Quran, and one reads the Holy Quran of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, as the other reads the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And both of the pamphlets are from the same organization founded by our Prophet Noble Drew Ali. You see how people be trying to get you in stuff that don't mean nothing? Tomato, tomato. Same thing. Same thing. Come on, man. Now, watch this. I'm going to show you something else. Because we're going to teach. The book that all my students going to get PDF because they don't have any that too many in print. But sir, Ramatherios unto thee I grant, published in 1925. I'm showing you how all this stuff was around the same time. Watch. Oh, first let me get to Levi Dowley. First, let me get to that. Let me get to Levi Dowley and his Aquarian Gospels of Jesus Christ, published December 1st, 1908. And he stated, I transcribe. So first you got to look what transcribe mean. If you don't know what transcribe mean, you lost. He said, first, I transcribe the text of the book Aquarian Gospel from the what? Akashic records, a purported compilation of mystical knowledge encoded in a non-physical plane of existence. And therefore, Mr. Levi Dowley, he also has claimed the information in the book was not of his own. I'm telling you, man. Are y'all following me? So when we get to here, Sir Ramatherios unto thee I grant, published in 1925. Sir Ramatherio, as well as the Rosicrucian Order, the AMORC, the AMROC, stated, out of the mysteries of the past comes this antique book unto thee I grant, that was written 2,000 years ago, but was hidden in manuscript form from the eyes of the world and given only to the initiates of the temples in Tibet to study privately. And therefore, Mr. Suri Ramatherio, too, has claimed the information in his book was not of his own. Are y'all following me? So, Divinely Prepared, 1928. Divinely Prepared, 1927. Written the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Prophet Noble Drew Ali says exactly where he received the teachings. That was within the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And it's on page 3. And it reads, the reason these lessons have not been known is because the Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine had these secrets and kept them back from the outside world. I just told you unto the grant said it's the same thing. The lessons of the Moorish Quran are not for sale per se, but for the sake of humanity. Are y'all following me? The reason why these lessons have not been known is because the Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine had these secrets that kept them back from the world. And when the time appointed by Allah, the great God, they loosened the keys and freed the secrets. And for the first time in ages have these secrets been delivered in the hands of the Muslims of America. All authority and righteousness rights of publishing of this pamphlet of 1927. So when you open that Moorish Quran, Moorish, how can somebody start dissing Jesus and they don't even understand the science of what he's talking about, Jesus, which is Yahshua, and the 18 missing years? And in our ayats, Noble Drew Ali clearly says, children, your hair is not kinky, it's woolly like your brother Jesus. And we're from the tribe of Judah, lineage of David by blood. And the Ruth, the Moabites, Tamar, all that Canaanite blood. Moabites, the Mohammedans. But y'all missing the whole science. Right? Noble Drew Ali is not referring that these teachings are an ancient teachings in which he does not take credit for, and neither does Levi Dowley or Mr. Suri Ramatherio of Unto Thee I Grant. And we must respect Moors. In addition, and according to the legal definition, the denotative definition, the etymological definition of plagiarism, as well as the words of the authors of said sources, Prophet Noble Drew Ali did not plagiarize the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. According to the Rosicrucians, even on their website, Mr. Suri Ramatherio is not the originator of the information provided in the book titled Unto Thee I Grant. I'm telling you, man. I can give you all sources from the Rosicrucian for my connections and my sources. But out of the mysteries of the past comes this antique book that was written 2,000 years ago, but was hidden in manuscripts form from the eyes of the world and given only to the initiates of the temples in Tibet to study privately. Didn't I just tell you how Noble Ali said how the 18 mission years was missing? And according to the Koran Gospels of Jesus Christ, Levi Donnelly states that he meditated in the quietest hour, which is 3 a.m. if you understand your wudu, then receive access to the Akashic records in which he's transcribed. You know that's crap. He had access to the teachings. The lessons he received, Levi Donnelly, according to his book, he was merely a transcriber, just like a cardiographer, a transcriber, writing down what the hell you saw or recorded pretty much, and was known to his followers as the transcriber. That's why you're a Quran question for Moorish Americans. Question 17, what is our religion? Islamism. Question 18, is that a new religion or is that the old time religion? The answer is the old time religion. And in the promotion of plans for the betterment of mankind, there has never been some kind of opposition, Moors. And strange as it may seem, such opposition has come from sources where there were no ideas or the lack of courage to force attention to ideas, Moors. Whether in church, state, or social community, any attempt to do anything out of the usual way seldom fails to receive criticism. And not because the course cannot be persuaded or pursued, meaning took action legally, or that it is unreasonable. It's because it has been considered in terms as new. And these teachings are old. You know? That's why I say a lot of times Christianity and certain things westernized, they try to make you think that you're wrong and try to make it seem like a part of you is evil. And that's not the teaching. That's not the science. Right? A lot of religions express themselves as being opposite to our advancement of the Mohammedan religion. I hope y'all know this is Mohammedan, possibly because the promotion wars of the Mohammedan faith among our people in the United States is considered by them in terms as something new. This is nothing new, Moors. You've been buried in a shallow grave. The Mohammedans, ask your mother what the Mohammedans were, and then you'll start connecting dots because they want to strip of your hueness. Whatever the reason may be for the opposition, the legal right to oppose citizens, individuals, and organizations alike for their religious belief does not exist in the United States. I keep telling y'all, we have religious laws. The door of religious freedom made by the American Constitution swings open to all, and people may enter through it and worship as they desire, Moors. So without religious freedom, no search for truth would be possible. Without religious freedom, no discovery of truth would be useful. Without religious freedom, religious progress would be checked, and we would no longer march forward toward the nobler life, which the future holds for the races of men. Without religious freedom, there would be no inspiration to lift our heads and gaze with fearlessness into the vast beyond, seeking a hope eternal from within. And it's a sad weakness, Moors, in us, after all, to oppose our fellow men and our women for their religious beliefs. And if there are angels who record the sorrows of men as well as their sins, Moors, they certainly know how many and deep are the useless sorrows that spring forth from such opposition, Moors. So possibly when we talk about love, and time will cancel our ancient hatreds in the regards and prove that in mankind, tolerance is better than unwarranted opposition. So in connection with our religious aims and beliefs, we must promote economic security. The preaching of economic security among us is by no means as widespread and intensive as the circumstances demand today, Moors. And no other one thing is more needed amongst us at this time than greater economic power, understanding our finances, better positions for our men and women, more business employment for our boys and girls. They're becoming graduates, but where are the jobs? We're not creating nothing for them. What legacy are we going to leave? Bigger economics will follow our economic security, and we shall be secure in nothing until we have economic power. That's why our prophet said a beggar nation and a beggar people cannot develop the highest in them, nor can they attain to a genuine employment of the spiritualities of life. Right? So that's it. That's it. We got 20 minutes. And I'm going to dig on this Eliseus Levi. When Moorish talk about they don't understand signs and symbols. When somebody always talking about this, the devil, the devil, the devil. When you hear your grandma know that's the devil, and they don't understand signs and symbols. And I tell you, homework is the research in the scriptures, because Lucifer is the morning star. Lucifer is the morning star. I'm going to tell you everything about you. They tried to make you evil. I promise you. They don't know that 666 in that context in the scriptures, it means 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, the chemical makeup of man. Also in the scriptures, 666 means the government. You must understand the context, and we'll teach that. But when we talk about the Baphomet, it's in fact, I told you, like all monstrous figures, just like what we call monstrous figures in our Egyptian history. This is a so-called monstrous figure. This is a so-called monstrous figure. When I break down this adapt wisdom, when I tell you, more is getting you all twisted up because they don't have the ancient manuscripts that teach the history. This stuff is old. You got to get out of more. Look how small the man is. Look at the teaching. Look at him in the back. So watch me break this down. That's why I said if y'all missed the first half, it's going to be on YouTube. I broke that whole scripture down, how they lied on Noble Jurali, saying he plagiarized the text, and I show you where unto thee grant come from, the secret wisdom, and where Aquarian Gospels come from, all these ancient Egyptian manuals that I just showed. But right here, Eliseus Levi, this terrible Baphomet, I told you, comes from the River Nile god, is in fact, like all monstrous enigmas of ancient science, it's nothing more than an innocent and even pious hieroglyph, a pious hieroglyph. So you got to research what pious mean. Eliseus Levi in the 19th century. That's why the mysterious origins of the legend Baphomet have been speculated upon historians and researchers for many hundreds of years. There have been many erroneous claims that have been made, such as the Baphomet represents Satan or evil. And that's not true. So what I'm going to show y'all is I want to illuminate something to you. I want to illuminate the truth behind who this horned God truly represents. Remember, I did these teachings a long time ago when I did a teaching on the meaning of the Baphomet. And I detailed that the Baphomet is derived from the phrase Tem, T-E-M, O-H-P, Ab, A-B, T-E-M, space, O-H-P, space, Ab, Temple, Omnium, Homnium, Pads, Abba. Temple, Omnium, Homnium, Pads, Abba, which is simply Latin for the father of the temple, universal peace of men. Temp, Hob, Abs, spelled backwards, is where we get the word Baphomet. When I tell you got to know the Gnostic teaching, when I start teaching gematria, when I break down the code in the scriptures, it's going to blow your mind. You've been lied to. Just like I show you, every European that's Masons, they took the science and made everything about you that was good, evil, and they use it for themselves. That's why you got to understand in certain books, The Mysteries of Magic, a digest of the writings of Eliseus Levi by Eliseus Levi and author Edward Waite. It explains the reason why the name was chosen. And Eliseus Levi is also the artist who had given us the best known image of this idol. And the Baphomet of the Templars, whose name should be spelled Kabbalistically backwards, is composed of 3 abbreviations, Moors. Temp, Ho, Abs, Temple, Omnium, Homnium, Pads, Abbas, the father of the temple, universal peace of men. That's you. According to some, it was a monstrous head. It was a monstrous head. I'm gonna show you everything. I'm gonna show you everything, all from the pentagram, from the call volta, for what all that means. It was a monstrous head, according to others, a goat-shaped demon, a sculptured casket unearthed in the ruins of an ancient commentary of the Templars was observed by antiquaries to be a Baphometic figure. Always talking about bury you in a shallow grave again and then throwing you off. Conformable in its attributes to our goat of Mendes and the androgen of Kunthra. It is bearded, but with the entire body of a woman. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go with that synchronicity. In one hand, it holds the sun. In the other hand, it holds the moon, joined by its chains. This virile head is a beautiful allegory which attributes to thought alone the first and creative cause. What? Thought. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was made flesh. Are y'all following me? The head here represents mind and the female body matter. The stars bound to the human form and directed by the nature of which intelligence is the head, have also a sublime significance. That's why I tell y'all, Moors, that this terrible Baphomet is in fact like all monstrous enigmas of ancient science. Nothing, and I mean nothing more than an innocent and even pious hieroglyph. In addition, Levi declares that Satan, as a superior personality and power, has no existence. That's why when you start seeing like Manly P. Hall or Albert Pike, they connotate your science, or Adam Blavinsky, they connotate your science, all 33-degree Freemasons. Albert Pike, he wrote Morals and Dogma. The Gnostics held that the universal agent composed the ingenious or pertaining to fire, the body of the Holy Spirit, the body of the Holy Spirit. And it was adored in the secret rites of the Sabbat, Sabbat, or the temple under the hieroglyphic figure of Baphomet, or the hermaphroditic goat of Mendes. Remember how I told you they pray to you in secrecy in masonry? That's why they dress up like you. When people talk about, they try to make jokes, oh, this is a hermaphrodite, this, that, but they showing you man and woman. They showing you this science. That's in Albert Pike teachings on page 734, the teachings of the 28th degree. I'm telling you, you have to study everything, the art of war, understand how everybody thinks. I know all the science, and all that science is connotated. That's why they sons of Muslims, and they bow down to real nobles. But however, Moors, unfortunately, a lot of authors and researchers who have produced books, movies, and articles, they simply massacred the true meaning of this great horn god. When I talk about the Ammon's horn, when I be talking about the hippocampus, oh man, we get so deep. But what this has done over time is just created more confusion to the point today that it appears most people equate Baphomet with evil or Satan, which is simply not true, Moors. Even Manly P. Hall, one of the European Masons, only 32 and 33 degrees, in its Dionysians, Mysteries, and Masonry, that the image of Baphomet is not a Christian devil, but a symbol of the ancient alchemists, representing nature, and nature's God being a combination and balance of male and female forces, light and darkness. Y'all hear me? The goat of Mendes, or Baphomet, whom the Templars were accused of worshiping, is a goat-headed deity, being formed of both male and female principles, with a caudus of Mercury in a place of its phallus. You see that Mercury in the middle? What y'all think Mercury is made for? One arm is pointing up, one arm is pointing down, with the Latin solve colga written on them. It means flow and ebb. Y'all know what flow and ebb mean? Flow and ebb, flow, how it flows, how it ins and out. And this is not the image of a Christian devil, but it's a symbol of an ancient alchemist representing nature and nature's God, being a combination and balance of male and female forces, light and darkness, moisture and dryness. When you more talk about the alchemist, I say you don't even know what the Baphomet is, and you telling people it's something scary. The very principle of Hermes Trismegistus, As above, so below is what is a symbol by Baphomet. As above, so below. Y'all follow me? So if you think this symbol is evil or have been misled, you are what's called a non-initiate. And a lot of these Moors calling themselves scholars, some just be non-initiates, and that's okay. Those who are considered profane to the secret mysteries and the secret knowledge that is contained in such stories, words, or images. Just like I stated earlier, the whole purpose of the Kabbalists and prescribes who use secret words or allegories in order to conceal the truth from the initiated. But I'm initiated, so I have the keys, so we must reveal them, but you must be a student. Remember, Manly P. Hall written in the Baphomet as well. Manly P. Hall wrote The Goat of Mendes in 1936. The practice of magic, either white or black, depends upon the ability of the adept to control the universal life force. Heaven is hell is within. The thermostat goes the same way to the left as does to the right. At what degree does hot and cold? That's why our pendulum goes the same way to the left as it does to the right. But as you come illuminated, your pendulum only goes a certain way. Y'all not listening to me. Right? But it depends on the ability of the adept to control the universal life force. And that's what Eliseus Levi called the great magical agent or astral light. And by the manipulation of that fluid essence, the phenomena of transcendentalism, or that transcendental magic are thus produced. And the famous hermaphroditic, the androgen, that male and female, that goat of Mendes was a composite creature formulated to symbolize the very astral light. And it's identical with Baphomet, that the mystic Pantheos, in Greek, the Pantheos, God of all nature, of those disciples of ceremonial magic who probably obtained it from the Arabs or the Moors, because the Moors are the Arabs. They always try to confuse you. They are twisted. I'm going to show you in scholarship, no disrespect, when the European scholars like, we'll just trick the Moors and the indigenous people by giving them Arab names and things. This is scholarship. If the carbon doesn't match the pen, you don't change the carbon. You should understand that the pen was changed. Simple scholarship. And the Baphomet is also a symbol of initiation into the secret mysteries, an idol of hieroglyphic that represents the god Amun, the Jupiter Amen, or the Amen Ra, who is the hidden one, king of gods and the lord of thrones on the visible and the invisible world. Also, as I stated, Moors, that the meaning of the Baphomet is the father of the temple, universal peace of men. And the father would be Amun, which is known in science as what? Your hippocampus, or Amen's horn. Your hippocampus is in your brain. Remember I told y'all about the blood that trickles down to the skull? Remember I told y'all that? There it goes. The temple would be your body along with your head, as it was said in Egypt, that the body is the house of God, the great God. And one of the many proverbs is, man, what? Know thyself, and thou shalt know the gods. So when you know thyself and live in harmony with nature, and when you synchronize, you are now one with the God. You are what's above is below. The same thing on earth as it is in heaven. You come to a point of universal peace of men. Also, when I talk about the Amen's horn and the Amen, the king of gods and the lord of thrones, I also explain exactly what the god Amun represents. And since Baphomet is Amun, the information all ties together. It synchronizes. In other teachings, I detail how each of us humans has a Baphomet or a hidden god, Amun, that sits in the middle of our brain, that is part of the temporal lobe, called the Amen's horn. The ominous horn, also known as the what? The hippocampus. In anatomy, Amen's horn is a metaphor that relates to the gods and the brain. Are y'all following me, Moors? The image we see today of the Baphomet is identified by the image of the ram, which is actually one of the most important gods in the history of the Egyptian empire. You see? You see with the ram's horn on this? Oh, man. The Egyptian Greek deity known as Amon, Amon-Ra, or Jupiter Amon, is sometimes represented as a ram of a blue color and sometimes as a man with the horns of a ram or wearing a cape with two high plumes. The religion of Amon-Ra is the oldest noted in Egyptian antiquity, with Amon-Ra priesthood being the most powerful clergy that Egypt have ever known, Moors. The god Amon was worshipped under the ram's horn in the east. Here we go with that ram's horn again. Egypt and that Israelite coming together, that 18th dynasty, the Moorish Israelite connection, y'all be missing it, from thousands of years. And the god Amon was tended by the priests of the great Theban temple of Karnak, Karnak, and also worshipped in Mendes, called Benjed or Banjed, Banebdjed, Ba of the Lord of Jed, or the Lord of the Mendes, who was the soul of Osiris. You see how we connect in this science? Thebes was founded in 1500 BC by a Phoenician prince named Cadamus. Phoenicium, Carthaginian, same people. Thus meaning the Thebes is from the word Theba that signifies ark, and the capital of the religion was located in the city of light, or what we know as what? Luxor. You know what Luxor is? The god they had worshipped was the god Amen-Ra, Jupiter Ammon. At the temple at Luxor, there are many ram sphinx that symbolize God Amen-Ra. Don't y'all know this science? On the Talmudic table, he is called the king of Upper and Lower Egypt, the living spirit of Ba, the living spirit of Shu, the living spirit of Seb, the living spirit of Osiris, the spirit of spirits, the Lord of lords, the hair of the city of Tonin, Mendes. In another part of the same text, is said of him appearing on the horizon with 4 heads, illuminating heaven and earth, coming as Nile, calling the earth to live and giving the air to mankind, sustainability, fire, earth, air, river. The priesthood of Amen-Ra from Egypt were the main inheritors of the secret mystery religion that initiated very famous people such as Alexander the Greek, who is described in the Bible as a ram on the rampage in Daniel 8:3-4. Then I lifted my gaze and looked, and behold, a ram which had 2 horns was standing in front of the canal. Now the 2 horns were long, but one was longer than the other, with the longer one coming up last. I saw the ram budding westward, northward, and southward. Fire, earth, air, river, and no other beast could stand before him, nor was there anyone to rescue from his power, but he did as he pleased and magnified himself. Oh man, woo, that's powerful. The ram's horn since the most ancient times was always a sign of authority, power, and dignity. The incarnation of Amon, a curled ram's horn that is known today as a shofar. You see what they got on the head? All sign and symbol. You see the ram horn, you see the hippocampus in there, in the head. Man, we a teach, man.
Fred Flintstone had it.
He sure did. Fred Flintstone had him. He sure did.
On his grand poobah.
On his fez. He sure did. I saw the ram budding westward. Know if I gave y'all that. And there was anyone to rescue him, but he was magnified himself. The ram's horn since the most ancient times was always a sign of authority, power, and dignity. The incarnation of Amon, a curled ram's horn that is known today as a shofar. You know how they blow it? Was the only natural vocal instrument that the priests were permitted to use as recorded in the scriptures. And the Israelites and the Levites, priests, had also used the ram's horn, or shofar. Excuse me. The modern Jews today confess their sins in the month of September by blowing a ram's horn to announce the ceremony, which they say drives away the devil. So log back on. We got a little bit more to go, man, and we're going to be done for part 2.